and I'm here with producer Michael Francis, director and writer Alessio Summerfield, and actor Jaan Marion from Are You All Right? Hi guys, how are you doing?
Doing good. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good. I was reading that this piece started is one thing and then morphed and evolved into something else. And I was curious, Alessio, how much of that happened during the process, and what was that process exactly?
Yeah, so I think it was strange. The film very much so started as a very angry movie. As a matter of fact, the title was completely different. It was called Hate instead of Are You All Right? And it was almost just like this screenwriting vessel for like a lot of anger, like workplace anger, work-life balance anger. And Jaan and I had actually been talking probably about 2 years after the script got written, which still would have been 2 years before we shot it. And it was kind of through conversations with Jaan and myself, conversations with friends, a good friend of mine, Alice Chang, a lot of just discussions that sort of centered around like, what if the film wasn't so aggressive and antagonistic towards the characters, and instead was sort of more sympathetic, and painted this picture and ended with just a quick gut check, so to speak. And I think years after the writing had started, my own anger had kind of started to temper. And when I noticed that I was less angry, I then started to ask myself, like, how can I channel these emotions into something that might make an impact?
Great. And it's so interesting, sort of a discussion of mental health with a focus on the workplace and in this pressure cooker that we developed in this country of what the American workplace is and the expectations on us, and all the pressure and the specificity of that I thought was really, really interesting. So also on as a man of color to bring yourself into that aesthetic of talking about this pressure in the workplace, especially in this point in American history. What was that experience like to sort of bring yourself into that as well?
Besides being an actor, I work a 9 to 5 as well. And as an African American that's in the workforce, especially in the blue collar workforce, it can be extremely stressful. So it's just like pulling those emotions from working a job that I dislike. But I know this is the thing that I have to do in order to put food on the table, and working this job in this blue collar America as an African American man, and the amount of stress and depression and anger that I tend to fall in these types of categories, which, for instance, I mean, when I did the role, it just automatically, I guess you put me at my 9 to 5, put me in my work. All of those emotions just came throughout my body for me to feel that mentally as well as physically. Right.
And so then the evolution of that, like, so you found that stuff creeping into your actual life as well?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm interested, when we have producers to talk to also. So Michael, as a guy with sort of an eye on everything, on the the giant globe of this piece, what, from the outside looking in, and then also from the inside looking out, what was your experience of seeing this story unfolding and watching the process and the pieces?
Well, it's really important from everything you guys already talked on, what was going on in the space of the country, what's happening in the space of being a Black man in America, what's happening in the space of workplace anxiety, depression, and things of that nature, and how in the African American community, we don't often talk about or deal with these topics, especially publicly, if at all, even privately. So being able to dig into that in a meaningful way, and on really bringing the emotion of what that really looks like and being vulnerable to let that out. And with Jaan and Alessio really digging into their personal space of what they feel like in places, which is a thing of commoncy, something they had in common, was really powerful. So as a producer, being able to just watch how they kind of created and crafted the creativity of bringing everything together, the writing, the way they wanted to tell the story, and all of that. It makes my job easy of just making sure all the pieces that they need fall into place and things happen the way that they need to happen so they can make the great art that they made. And, when I say this, when I say, he went there physically and mentally, if performance on screen, it's even more dramatic and I'll say impressive to watch, and a lot of stuff because my man, when he goes in, he goes in. And that was just my job as a producer of just making stuff happen and putting things together. And then where we made messes, I just clean it up.
Right. And it's great, that also in the film we get this great sense of the toll that this sort of breakdown takes on the people around somebody. It's not just about that person. That we had we see that a wonderful relationship on screen, which is also points up to the rareness of seeing a Black romantic relationship of substance on screen, and that was also a really great thing. And us recognizing that the toll that these sort of fissures in our wellness have in the world around us. And with that, Alessio, would there have been more? Because I kept thinking like that relationship, that's a movie in and of itself, and so I really loved the work you did in seeing the care between these two characters. So, in playing that and in directing that, Alessio, how did you feel about watching not just this man unraveling, but watching a relationship also becoming this casualty of this as well?
Yeah, I can speak to a fun tidbit. The fun tidbit being that the relationship aspect entered into the mix really late in the game, but we knew that there was humanity missing from the screenplay. I think it was all work, all intense stress, and essentially it was this really heated, palpable anger and paranoia from 0 to 100 for the entire film. And so An and I were having all these discussions about it's missing something. And then one of our other producers, actually Benjamin Dewhurst, really early on in the process had said you need to introduce something into the mix. And I had kept saying, no, I don't want to. I don't want to overcomplicate it. But I'm so glad that we did, because Ashley Santana, who plays the role of Dawn, did a phenomenal job. And at this point, I'll kick it over to An to answer the rest of the question.
Yes. Ashley, if you're seeing this, big ups to you. You did a phenomenal job. The co-star for me. Adding that relationship, it showed a softer side, almost like what Alessio said, towards Walter's character. It was strictly, like you said before, the original title of the film was hate. So that's all it was anger, madness, depression. But in the midst of all of that, as human beings, we always try to find love. Love is everything. No matter if it's with a friendship, a relationship, or even a pet. When you're going through that mental stage in your life, that love from that particular individual, it always helps you out in some type of way to reevaluate, no matter if it's to a better person. And what he essentially wanted to be, Walter, was a better person. Walter, he wanted to be a person that can find that work-life balance, but also incorporate love. But in life, sometimes we let that work over consume us. And that's what actually happened to him before he lost it.
Right on.
To add to that, the one, Ashley, she is phenomenal. We need to get her on screen more. But to have that dynamic of the love, of the tenderness, and those things, it made Wallace more three-dimensional, where he wasn't just this one thing. He was, you could see that in everybody. You know, there's nobody's all bad, nobody's all good. There are variances of those things, and to have that on one side really brings out the raw emotion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll throw one last question to you, and so like in 2 or 3 words, what's the answer when we see our neighbors, our friends, our colleagues starting to slip into that universe? What do you think is the answer? What do we do, Alessio?
Ask them if they're all right. I mean, I don't know. It's an easy one, but
Right.
But yeah, I've had a lot of conversations since the film has kind of been screened with like super small groups of people that were helping on the film and stuff about like how strong those 3 words at the end, how strong they are, how much it matters. And
Right.
I think, I mean, and we even at the end of the film have a quote that says like, hey, if you're going through issues, here's some 1-800 numbers to call, that kind of stuff. But like nothing is quite the same as like a loved one legitimately reaching out, or even somebody you don't know legitimately reaching out and asking, are you all right? And so I think, I don't know, I think there's a lot of power in just those 3 simple words.
Right. It's a good answer. It's hard to top.
Got to keep it on brand.
On, you have a thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, Alessio took mine. I was about to say, oh, you all right? Oh, man, you should have gave me first. No, but for real, I would have to say, love yourself.
Right on. Great.
Love yourself.
And Michael, you get the final word. How do we help them?
We have to seek help.
Mm.
We have to seek help. We have to be open. Be open to help. And that's the hard part sometimes.
Right on. All right. The film is Are You All Right? Alessio Summerfield, Michael Francis, Jaan Marion. Lovely work and congratulations.